Okay, I guess I am live. So again, I'm hoping that this is working for people who are watching this. I'm so sorry for any technical difficulties. That's why I started a little early, just in case. Two viewers. Okay, I'm going to assume I'm live right now. Thank you all for joining me. Let me get my lights on over here. Why am I not seeing my face? Really?
What happened? You started before you sent it.
I'm still trying to learn the ropes around here, dude. So anyway, look, the only people I think that are going to be watching right now are probably a couple of cousins, but I have 4 viewers right now. I'm assuming they're my cousins. I think we can chill. Let me just chill out a little bit. Let me even see. So should I check on my actual YouTube page? I'm assuming I should be live.
I got it. Yeah, I was telling you. Well, turn off that volume on the YouTube Hangout on the YouTube page. Yeah.
Right. By the way, and I'm noticing that here on there's another page that says start Hangout on air. Should I hit that as well?
No, you're good. You're on right now. Don't do anything.
I'm definitely live. Okay, so even though when I go to my actual,
because whatever I told you to do didn't happen. I know that. Unless you just started it without me, because we were supposed to make sure it was good. I don't know, but yeah, it's good. It's good right now.
All right. Well, cool, man.
Yeah.
So look, fuck it. Let's just let's talk about the thing that I wanted to talk about was the War Machine movie, but of course you can't fucking not talk about Kathy Griffin. Fucking.
What War Machine movie? What is that?
With Brad Pitt.
I don't know of it.
And I think it probably bypassed the movie theaters. I think it's just straight to Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And I saw it this weekend. And I mean, I guess I should have expected it to be somewhat of a bleeding heart message. After all, it's based on the Rolling Stone article that got General Stanley McChrystal fired. I don't know if you remember that back in 20.
No, what happened with him?
He was one of the generals in Afghanistan, and I guess he was talking shit about Obama and about Joe Biden and stuff like that. And there was a Rolling Stone reporter covering the whole thing, and the guy's name was, I believe, Michael Hastings. And he wrote an article. He also wrote a book, experience that he had. And when that Rolling Stone article came out, that was so damning for General Stanley McChrystal that he basically had to resign, because he was either going to get fired or he had to resign. He was a 4-star general. But the movie goes into all the clusterfuck that was the war in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And of course, they try to paint it out, that's what kind of pissed me off. Like, what pissed me off about the movie is they try to make this guy look like a fucking imbecile, or not a total imbecile, but like this. He almost looks like he's got either Asperger's syndrome. He's got something, man. And because I remember when I was watching the movie, I had no idea it was based on this, even though I could tell it was probably based on some sort of reporting. and Brad Pitt was just acting bizarre. You know, like, why is he acting this way? Especially in comparison to World War Z. John, did you see that movie?
No, I haven't. Like, I've been off movies for like 5 years. It's bad. I don't know. I used to watch movies all the time. I have like movie collection, and I just like completely stopped watching movies for some reason. I started watching like, you know, all those HBO shows and shit like that.
Right.
Because they're just shorter and weekly and easy to consume, you know, instead of taking up 2 to 3 hours of your day. Like, it's so pressed for time.
No, and especially once I really started getting into YouTube, I just fuck it.
That takes up time too.
No, the thing is that I really prefer watching stuff on YouTube. I'm trying to get my wife.
That's the thing. I've been watching YouTube for probably about the same amount of time, so that's probably why. Yeah,
and then I'm trying to get my wife. I'm trying to ease her into the videos. I'm trying to get her to watch some of the videos.
Nah, that depends. Like, most won't be.
Yeah, no, I think most women, I think it's just the political news junkery that I'm addicted to. I think it might be a bit much for her.
Well, there's a reason why, like, not many people have like 20%, 25% female viewers, unless it's like those, you know, makeup channels and stuff like that, or like teenage drama channels.
And they do. They actually, because this weekend I was talking to a friend of mine's girlfriend, and she was telling me that she doesn't really watch YouTube except for the makeup channels. And then she started talking about those makeup channels like the way we talk about all these other fucking YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, holy shit.
And
she follows a lot of these chicks. And I was like, oh, wow. And then, and it's funny because whenever I don't know if you've seen, I don't know any of their names off the top of my head, but like out of the 5 or 6 of those YouTube, those makeup chicks, they all average like 5 million subscribers.
Millions of subscribers. That's crazy, you know? Okay, if you let's just say you use the term skeptic community or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's only one guy with 1 million.
Who's that?
Amazing Atheist. That's it. Like, so this community is not. This part of YouTube is not good for viewership.
No, it's like a dark alley.
If you're looking for viewership, like if one guy has 1 million, and then you go to those channels, you go to gaming channels. Look how many millions they have. Tons of people with millions.
Yeah.
Like people talking about politics or atheism. Nope. 1 million people max. That's one dude. Like no one else is at that amount yet.
Right. And the funny thing is, though, I'm not going to say that we're talking about such important shit, but the funny thing is that these are the things that really do affect our lives. Like, and I really do not want to make a joke about Manchester at all, but I hate to think how many of those people that attended that concert are probably down with all those makeup channels, but they have zero idea of what's going on, which, you know, irreparably affected their lives.
Or they ignore it. Well, it depends how old they were, I guess. But yeah, or they ignore it, or like pretend it doesn't exist and we're the bad guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. By the way, how do I get that window where I can see the comments? Because right now I don't see any comments.
You got to go to. I'll send you the link. I'm already on it. The YouTube link.
No, that's weird because I'm looking at my own channel and I can't fucking find it here.
It's hard to find a channel. If you went to Video Manager, the thing would be there, and then you click on it. But there, I just sent the link in the Hangout.
Oh, okay, cool. So that way. And how many people are watching right now?
13. Not bad. Not bad. I only had 16 the other day, and I have like 6 times the amount of subscribers as you. So you're doing pretty good.
All right. And okay, here we go. Here I see it. I'll think, man, I see some of the people at Zero Cool.
Yeah, you gotta make
sure
that's off. Like the volume there. Just make sure the volume's off, or you'll start echoing in your ear.
That I had off. Cool. Okay, so I can handle it. Mark Doppelgang, cool. Everybody, people I know are here.
Yeah, Mark.
So then, and that's the that's the interesting thing, and it's true. The same thing with the video channels, the video game channels. There was one other guy, this other friend of mine that I work with. He was not at all into watching the YouTube videos, but the one that he definitely saw of mine was the Sarah Silverman. But he's definitely into the video game channels, and it's just
no, yeah. Well, I used to just go to YouTube just for funny shit. So like people are just, you know, that's what, remember when it first started, you just go, you find whatever is viral, and it was
like
then they started like people started finding areas of YouTube, I guess.
And there's Ogre. The gang's all here. Hey, man, what's up? Hey, thank you all for watching. I'm trying to make this, hopefully no more glitches. But what was I going to say? Yeah, no, it's interesting to see how people, they just want to turn off to that shit. And I'm, for whatever reason, I love this. Oh, and as far as the beginning of YouTube, I guess the first couple of people that I saw was actually The Amazing Atheist. But I never dawned on me to do something like that. As a matter of fact, I remember thinking to myself, why is this guy doing this? Isn't YouTube just for like either vintage videos or old documentaries? Because that's how I discovered Christopher Hitchens.
Oh, yeah.
Dawkins. And it looks like a lot of people had that same, how do you call it, journey? I guess you could call it that.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people had the same exact journey, finding those guys on YouTube and then branching out into other shit. Definitely.
I
was like a couple of years I was like thinking, I was like, I wanted to make videos, but I'm just like, how do you make a video? I don't even know. Like, you know, I'm not gonna record myself and talk to a camera. It's stupid. Like, so I just never did it. And then like someone sort of, you know, nudged me a little.
Yeah. No, like I said,
yeah, that's.
I was gonna say, for me, I was gonna originally just do this as a cartoon show. And as I started getting ready and getting the mask and stuff, that's when I started.
Made it a kids show. If you made it like a kids show, you could have got millions. Probably. That's probably another area of YouTube that has millions of subscribers each channel.
No, I still definitely want to do that though. I mean, it's just I guess I underestimated the amount of time it takes. The amount of time it takes to get the little cartoons going and stuff. That's why Scully is the easiest one for right now. It's just a 2-frame animation.
I got a Scully at work. I got a ring like that at work.
And, but no, eventually I'll do it. Right now I'm just feeling my way and having fun with it and shit. But anyway, back to War Machine. The movie sucks, and yet I recommend watching it because in no way, shape, or form am I going to say like what happened at Manchester is our foreign policy or anything like that. But wow, it is quite the clusterfuck that our militaries get involved in, and yeah, they had this one scene in there where I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but it's people just dying by mistake, and you're just like, damn. And yet at the same time, it really bothered me to see, like, not once in the movie, they talk about, like, what is going on in Afghanistan, like the whole thing with the Bashi, whatever that fucking thing is called, the systematic rape of children, of, like, the young boys that they get the...
Oh, yeah.
Not once do they even allude to that. Of course, it's all about the fucking... The American soldiers being pieces of shit and fucking a bunch of clumsy guys and all the guys.
Oh, God. I just watched the most horrible video I've seen in a long time. Like, oh, and it was been in Afghanistan too. Pretty fucking bad. I tweeted it actually. It's really bad. It's just some woman getting killed by like a mob of men, like hundreds of dudes. It's crazy.
No, and they just had a bomb attack. I think it was it yesterday? I think it was.
Oh yeah, that was yesterday.
Fucking like 40 people just.
No, but this was just the city, bro. Just attacked this woman for, you know, violating Islam.
That's the amazing thing. Like,
it was crazy, bro. So crazy. The cops were protecting her, and then they couldn't protect her anymore. They just fucking got her.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst thing I've seen in a long time.
But wait, what was this? This was like just a YouTube video that like.
I stumbled upon. I tweeted it out before. It's pretty bad. You could just check my page or whatever. It's out there.
No, that was since I didn't know if I was gonna be able to get you to join the chat and stuff. I just figured I would do War Machine. But what I really wanted to have you on and talk about was the whole thing with Linda Sarsour videos. Let me pull up some of your latest videos.
Dude, look at how that goes. Look at every video with her. It gets so many more hits, and I don't even want to do so many videos on her. I'm definitely not doing more videos because it gets me hits. I just something I'm noticing that every video I have with her gets more hits than others. But yeah, I'm not gonna dedicate anything to her. There's no fucking way. I'll always I'll always take my shots.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'd like to think that slowly but surely this is somewhat making a difference. I mean, I don't know. I guess you can't really measure.
People protested her recently.
Are you going to go to the Gavin McInnes one?
I don't know, man. It's gonna be. It's gonna be like you're aligning with some people you don't want to. So I mean, I may go just to look around, but I ain't getting in with any people and doing I'll do it as a spectator. You know what I mean? I am walking I'm not a Kekistani fucker. That's not my thing. I'm not I don't see the point of going there doing that shit. So there's a lot of that shit going on there. So, and then probably a bunch of Christians too, who think I'm then I got to get into it with them for no reason. Because I'll obviously be wearing my fucking some kind of probably my godless heathen shirt just because it's like an anti-Sharia rally, right? Is that the one you're talking about? It's actually I think ACT is taking a big part in it. ACT, you know what I'm talking about?
No, who are they?
Brigitte Gabriel's organization, the organization she deals with.
Oh, okay. With Linda Sarsour. No,
not Linda Sarsour. No, Brigitte Gabriel. Do you know who she is?
Okay, right.
She has a organization, ACT, ACT.
Right. Yeah,
and they're taking part in it. So I don't know who's started it or whatever. I'm not exactly sure, but
because I saw her interview with Dave Rubin, and she's also like, we need to get together. We need to.
Well, she mentioned that. She mentioned June 10th. There's a rally against Sharia in like a bunch of cities. Like I would go and film and shit maybe, but it's gonna be such a fucking toxic environment, bro.
Especially New York. Wow.
Well, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna get violent or nothing, but I just think it's like too far. The extremes are gonna be too out there, and I'm not on either extreme. So
I don't almost want to go back up to New York just to fucking see them.
It's gonna be in other cities around the country, bro. Check it out. It's probably in Miami, maybe not, but it's probably in like 20 cities right now.
So wait, what's going to be in 20? Because that I hadn't heard. Because I know.
What are you talking about then? I think we're talking about two different things.
No, I know. For example, I know Milo already. I think he already did the
No, he can't. No. That was a protest against Sarsour. She was speaking at a CUNY college. That had nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I thought you were talking about the March Against Sharia, which is in like a week, not even, or something like that, June 10th.
Now, that's the one that's being set up by Gavin McInnes?
No, I don't know. That's what I was asking you, if that is the one you're talking about. Because you said it was being set up by Gavin McInnes.
No, because I remember hearing him talk about that on Steven Crowder's channel.
Okay. I don't know. I have no idea what Gavin McInnes is doing.
What's the name of his group? Not the
Proud Boys. He's a fucking what an idiot. He's a douche. I don't know. I'm not too into him.
No, I think he's funny as shit. I mean, when he's not being obnoxious and when he's not trying to push God and stuff like that. But I think it's just, and that was another interesting thing in the movie where I almost agreed with that one little subtle shot that they made sure to have in the War Machine movie. There's a scene where they're all in a bus. They're all of Stanley McChrystal's guys, because he's got like a little group of guys that would help him out and shit. And you could see one of them, because it's all in slow motion. It's a montage scene. And one of them's got his little cross dangling. Now, granted, I got my little star, but I'm not trying to fucking kill people over this shit. And so they do allude at times that it's almost, for a lot of these people, it's kind of almost like a modern day crusade. It's just a fucking crazy thing. But now, coming back to these protests that you were talking about, June 10th. So is that the date to kind of watch out for in your city to see if there's going to be an anti-Sharia protest or something?
Well, there's supposed to be. So yeah, it's happening apparently. I'm gonna check it out maybe. But
I'll definitely go to.
Like, I mean, I'm not an activist, so I don't want to go to rallies and shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. Like, I don't want to be part of that, because I don't know. I find that shit, although it's, it's American to protest, it doesn't seem American to me. I don't know why. It's just like weird. Like, I've never had to, so I guess maybe that's why.
Right.
Like this, we've had nothing really to fight for, like, in our lifetime, my lifetime at least.
No, so, yeah, and that's that's
why I'm like questioning going there or not. Like, because if I go there, I'm just gonna really be a spectator, walk. Like, I'm gonna be on the sides, just looking and filming here and there.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna go with this fucking mask. That's for sure. I'll go with my fucking, and not even like just with my iPhone, or not my iPhone, my fucking little sensor. I'll go with that and just keep quiet and don't fucking antagonize or provoke people either.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not looking to have conversations with anyone there. Like I'm just looking to see what goes on, because, like I said, I'm not an activist. I'm just fucking making videos on YouTube, telling my thoughts about the situations, and hopefully trying to figure out what to do about it.
I mean, what do you think, other than making these videos and?
Well, making these videos isn't going to do much, but hopefully it just gets some people to think and change their mind. Like, my videos are not going to stop Islam. No. That's for goddamn sure. Like,
no, but I wonder if it's a cumulative effect. Like, for example, I didn't know anything about Linda Sarsour until I saw your video, and then I wonder to what extent I started knowing more about her afterwards, just because of the search results then that I started getting. Because I don't see her like in the news, like even on the Drudge Report.
She's in news. She's been on CNN. She's been on shit.
Granted, but
she does a lot of activism. She's out there putting herself out there fucking daily. And that's why she's fucking bad news.
And by the way, have you gotten any death threats or anything like that from anybody, like any of her followers or anything like that? Or are you starting?
I've gotten death threats from Kraut's followers. Fuck. I've gotten death threats from all people. I don't even know anymore. Like, I don't even pay attention to them anymore.
Right.
There's no point. Like, I mean, some I'll see and be like, maybe I'll report them if they seem fucking crazy enough. But
no, I've heard some, and I don't want to get into the fucking stupid YouTube dramas and shit like that.
No. I was just stating that forget about her followers. Like, this fucking worthless person's followers are attacking me. So yeah, of course hers are gonna come after me here and there. Someone told me today, go in a cave and rape my woman that's waiting there for me. Like some black Muslim woman, I think she was.
Fucking hilarious, dude.
But it was on Sarsour. It was on the Sarsour video, actually.
Yeah, I tried listening to one of her own little. It's impossible. It's impossible to listen to that woman.
She makes your fucking skin crawl, like, when she talks.
No, and you already right from the get go, it's just fucking intimidation. Let me see if I can pull up one of them. Oh, you want to invite some people in, or?
That's your stream, man.
Okay,
It's your stream.
Still learning the protocol and the etiquette. See if I-
Some people don't know hangout etiquette. That's
let's get in. Let me see if I get in a couple people. Get, the only people who's
I would suggest sending it to them individually instead of
right.
throwing it out there, because
then
they'll automatically send people in here, and that shit gets hectic, and there's no control at that point. So, just so you know, you can do it if you want, but there is no control at that point.
No, I know. No, and plus, I've seen that's what happens with a lot of streams when you start getting like more than like 5 or 6 people.
Mm-hmm. 5 is pretty good.
Yeah. So hold on, let me invite some of the people that invite me on usually. Let's see if I get. You get Ogre. And so it's funny because I was like quite nervous to do this shit as a door, like I'm live on CNN or some shit like that. No, fucking relax.
16 people watching, don't worry. And 2 of them are us.
Good.
So, no worries there. But she had first time I saw her, Hagbar did a video on her. And then I was like, who is this? And I'm like, oh, she's from Brooklyn. Oh, she's doing things in New York. Oh, great. Yeah. And then she did the Women's March. And I was like, gotta do a video finally. Gotta finally do a video.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just send out these invites.
People are finding out about her. Someone wrote an article, and they wrote articles in both papers on her in the opinion pieces. And
yeah,
it's slander. I don't know what slander it is. Like, if it's slander, then sue.
Yeah. I guess she really can't, but we just need to get like the first.
Well, if it's slander, she can.
Well, yeah, I guess it.
Right.
Yeah. I guess.
People can sue for slander, like, and they do win. Like, if it is, that's why it's a thing.
And how far do you keep that in mind when you do your videos? Like,
I never
do you ever find
it in mind. I mean, no, I keep it in mind sometimes. Like, on her, like, I tried to make sure everything was good.
Right.
But now I'm seeing things as they happen, so it's much easier to gauge it all.
Right.
Now I can, oh, this just happened. Let me check if it's true here. Let me go there and see what they say about it. And then I'm like, all right. They didn't say any, like, the opinions I take out. I say my own opinions,
Okay, here, I don't know if this is going to be slander or not, but here we go. The 15th annual something convention of American Muslims. I hope this is not going to be interpreted as Muslim bigotry, but here we go.
I'm from Brooklyn, so I don't get impressed by these crowds. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh boy, you're so hardcore. You're so ghetto, baby.
So, are people going to allow me to just say whatever I want to say today? Can I just say whatever I want to say? Are you ready? I've had a rough couple of weeks, and I just feel like I want to talk to my Muslim sisters and brothers.
Send me this wherever.
A little bit, but I'm intentionally going to go off topic. Here today as a Palestinian Muslim American woman who cares deeply about standing up for the civil rights of all people, the human rights of all people. And between you and me, I'm really tired of having to come to Muslim conferences and have to explain to Muslims why Black Lives Matter is your issue. I'm tired of having to come here and explain that 1/3 of the American Muslim community is African American. To explain to you why the killing of unarmed Black people, men and women, is wrong. And
I can't. That's yeah. When they start with the fucking false narratives and the victimhood, it's like,
oh, she's such a propagandist. It's crazy.
oh, yeah, no, for sure.
It's crazy. I just did a video and it showed how many, how many people are on. I counted out of 373 cases how many people were unarmed and killed or whatever. And it's like numbers are almost even. Whites and blacks are like almost even. They're like, I think 8 white people compared to 7 black, or maybe 9 black. It's 1 more black or something like that. I forget what it was. I just did this like a week ago.
Well, I remember last year's, because I think it's The Guardian has a site, the body count or something.
What's a Washington Post?
Then I guess it's that one also, because I think I remember with The Guardian. Nonetheless, it was clearly whites than blacks. I mean, I even put it in my video. And then now this weekend, Memorial Weekend, with the Mississippi, the guy that killed the 8 people and went house to house. Black guy that they did not kill in the end. And the guy was actually, he supposedly admitted that he was looking for suicide by cops.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
You know, and yet you're still getting, like now what's happening over at Evergreen College, where they're insisting on no whites day. So I think
yeah, these people are nuts, man.
So I just wonder at what point is this gonna? Oh, hey, what up, Mark?
I saw a minute of that video. I couldn't take it.
Hello, guys. Hello, Nachi. Hello, Billy.
Hello.
Thanks for the invite, and I'm glad you're on this subject. It's crazy shit, and it really needs to be disseminated further.
You gotta ignore these fucking people. Walk away. Why is that white woman standing there watching them all fucking?
Okay, I'm all for ignoring Linda Sarsour, but I really want...
no, not her. No,
okay, but I really want other people who are pro-Islamism somehow to learn what really goes down. So I'm all for disseminating the information.
Oh, yeah.
And
because
I think
really there is...
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, really, there is a lot of people still going with the idea that gays for Islam or whatever, and that we can just simply coexist as things stand right now. As things stand, we cannot really coexist right now, unfortunately.
Well, that's where I think, like, for example, and here I'm going to start being, I guess I'm going to play the devil's advocate kind of thing. I think we can. I mean, with I've worked with enough Muslims, you know, they're about as Muslim as most people I know are Catholic. You know, they go to church once in a while, and you know they observe Christmas and shit like that. So I mean, in terms of that, but now in terms of what is Islam and like their actual ideology of making sure everyone's under that, and let alone the caliphate and all that shit. No, of course, that's just. And for that matter, I would even say Christianity is not compatible. Christianity, the way it's supposed to be practiced, is not compatible with just common sense and fucking modernity, man. I mean, and yeah, I think it's a matter of just how do you convince everybody, you know, to just let that shit go. And that was one of the other things I actually want to talk about as a joke, or maybe start this as a meme. Basically put out, we need an atheist enlightenment. There needs to be a dawn of atheism. And that's the funny thing with people like amazing atheists and shit. Like, I've heard this from a lot of these other atheist YouTubers, like, oh, we've already settled all the arguments.
Yeah, I know. This argument's settled, and like 6 billion people or more believe in fucking God. What are you talking about? We've settled the argument.
Well, okay.
Yeah, we settled the argument. We got it, but like...
Let me try to
6 billion others don't, at least.
Let me try to give a voice from the other side. I'm not exactly a very religious person right now, but I grew up as a religious one.
So
and
did I.
There is still something left there, I believe. So in any case, at this point, I'm much closer to your points of view. And I believe many religious people would be just as well, at least Christians and other westernized religions, than to Islam. Because for me, freedom first. And I really mean that. And Islam is pretty much, at least the way I see it, is pretty much opposed to our freedom as we understand it.
Oh yeah,
So in this case, I'm with you guys.
If other religions were as harsh as Islam, we'd have a real fucking problem right now. Like,
Oh yeah.
like, because like, you know, if Christianity was that bad right now, I would be fucked, like, beyond belief. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to. It wouldn't go as freely as you know. Obviously, if they're gonna be killing people, then they'd be fucking killing my ass.
And speaking of which, like now to be the devil's advocate and to, you know, at least take the side of moderate Muslims, you know, I'm not a fucking bigot. Even though I'm almost becoming one. I hate to say it, whenever I see somebody with a hijab, I'm like, The point is, did you guys see this story about the guy, and how ironic this guy's name? Anyway, let me read the headline first. Final act of bravery. Men who were fatally stabbed trying to stop anti-Muslim rants identified.
I know about
Did
that.
you hear about that guy in Portland?
I just did a video or two on it, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you do it on this guy?
I
Oh,
did
shit,
2
didn't see
videos
that.
on this.
Oh, wait a second. I'm looking at your videos now. The last one that I had seen of yours. I saw. Oh, that's right. Wait a second. Portland. Wait a second. I saw this whole fucking video, and for whatever reason, I don't remember hearing about this guy. And anyway, the guy's name. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the video before it is more about what happened at this event. It was like sort of a video. I was gonna make one video, but then I split it up, and yeah, so I talked about the whole fucking thing, the whole story, everything. It's it's a crazy story, but I don't even know what the guy said. Honestly, I don't think they've divulged that information.
Yeah, perhaps I was focusing too much on the chicks swimming in the pool.
Well, that was the Starzor video.
Right. So then, which one? Wait, how did I miss? Okay, the one we're talking
The
about.
one
this
before
guy.
it has 1,500 less views, and it's the one that needs to be watched in order to, like, deal with the next one. I don't know. It's weird. That's how that happened. I can't. If people missed it, I don't know why.
Okay, your hate crime hysteria. That one I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen yet.
That's
But,
sort of like the part 1 to that next one, because it was gonna be one video, but I stopped because I was working like 12 hours on one video because I got a new program. It's fucking crazy.
You know what?
So,
That I do remember from the video. When you mentioned that, I thought you were talking about the other little short video, A Gift for You.
no, that's just a little piece of something I forgot to leave in the other video.
Little clips
Anyway,
that fell on the floor. I like your new intro though, Billy.
Oh, that was no. I mix them up. I don't like. I have like one that I use usually, but other ones I just mix up. I usually never reuse them either.
Yeah, it's nice to change them up every so often, because after a while, it's like you're watching a 10th video, you're like, oh, this fucking intro again.
Well, yeah, and I like to fuck with it. That's the part I like about it.
Yeah.
Making it visually audio, audio and visually. How the fuck would you say that? That's not the right word. It's not just audio.
YouTube-ish stuffish. I don't know what you call it. Just make up some word.
Content. It's a new hot word.
Content. I hate smash that like button. I want to smash people's faces and say that.
Subscribe, hit like, and share.
Smash that like button. I'm gonna fucking smash your head.
You know what? I'm gonna downvote this stream just for you saying that. Here goes.
Why? Do you like smash that?
Are you going to
Smash that
unsubscribe and not share? I actually did one video where I told people specifically to vote the thumbs it down.
Oh, I don't care about that shit. I have 3,000 dislikes on a video.
Yeah, it's like people don't realize it still goes towards your analytics.
Yes, I'm like, thanks for disliking and watching my video, you dumb piece of shit. Like when they
come
get
back,
stupid.
leave more negative comments.
Actually, yeah, from the point of view of YouTube, it's still engagement, and they still consider it as a sign that your video is worth something.
Exactly.
People will
That's
Pay
why
attention.
sometimes I'll get into a back and forth with somebody. Like if somebody leaves a stupid comment on my video, I'll respond to them and they'll respond back and I'll respond to them. Because each time they do that, they go to my page and it counts as a view. I just sit there and fuck with them.
And what is YouTube? Have they sent you any? I don't know. Have they taken down any of your videos or anything like that? Or
Who?
no, for anybody. Has anybody had any of their videos taken down by any fucking chance or been getting any? I don't know. How does YouTube even deal with that? Because I'm so under the radar.
I get demonetized, but the only time I've gotten demonetized is when I talked about child molestation, 9/11.
9/11.
Yeah.
Fuck
I did a
off.
video on 9/11, and they demonetized it.
Like, send me that video. I gotta see that one.
Yeah, it's this idiot in New York who thinks that witchcraft and the Illuminati caused 9/11. I was like, you fucking moron! Islamic terrorists caused 9/11.
Fucking people, man.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
the
they are
Illuminati?
aliens after all, or at least they were aliens. I mean, aliens from another country.
Isn't there?
Yeah, he didn't even think aliens did it.
Isn't there the Sargon's truth there, right? Oh my goodness, come on.
Yeah. Anyway, Nachi, to answer your question, I believe YouTube does it in two ways, actually. One way is that if people report your video, maybe one person, maybe multiple persons, the YouTube will actually act upon that, and they will probably send some actual staff employee to check your video and maybe flag it for deletion or whatever. And another way is totally automated. YouTube takes your title, your description, your tags into account, and they run it through some filters. For example, if you put some crazy stuff in it or some stuff that is quote unquote unsafe for advertisers, they will demonetize your video. No problem there. They can also to some extent look actually at what's spoken in your video, in that you have probably noticed on some video there is closed captions generated automatically by YouTube. So they can analyze actually our voices and to some extent recognize what we are talking about.
Yeah. Titles of videos and also keywords or the tags are a way that they definitely catch some things, because they don't have somebody watching all these videos. They have bots that are run around and pick up specific words. And then those words, like he mentioned, get flagged, and then eventually somebody probably gets around to like watching it. But I doubt very many human beings are actually watching all of these videos.
That's impossible, I would think. 'Cause I think it's about like what, less than 1,000 people work at YouTube, right? It's like
That's crazy.
quite high. Or 400, I think I remember reading.
I've
or
never had
something.
anything taken down yet. I've only had one video that's blocked right now because of visual content. Not because it's bad. It's just someone else's, and they fucking blocked it instead of just taking the money.
Oh yeah, and that's another possibility. In that
So
YouTube,
stupid.
I know, they should just take the money.
Just take the money. What's the point of fuck you? You don't get to show anyone shit.
Okay. How does that? I'm confused about that one. What's the
Copyright? What's it called?
Copyright claim.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
there's like no copyright claim is where they take the money, and you video still up. There's a copyright block.
Copyright takedown?
There's a copyright block. It's not a strike.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
It's just they block the video. No one can see it.
right?
But
The only
then
thing
there's
I
a
have-
strike. There's a copyright strike and DMCA's.
Yeah, the only time I had that was with a song, with a video that I tried using a Beatles song, and that was the thing was that up until that point I had used other copywritten songs, and I was like, fuck it, when I get demonetized, I'm like, oh well, for right now, fuck it, doesn't matter. But that one from the Beatles, which was with A Day in the Life, immediately, like as soon after it scanned the whole fucking video, it was like, you cannot show this video. You can do
they
it private
block.
if you
Beatles block.
Beatles block.
Beatle block.
You see,
yeah.
but it's so stupid. It's like Billy was saying. If somebody uses your song in a video,
And it gets
You get
viewed
money for it.
50,000 times.
yeah, exactly. And then he's also basically giving them free advertisement. It's like, here's this band, there's this song.
Yeah, there's nothing I could do about it. I can't counter the claim. I could only take out the song.
Right.
Yeah. So it's free advertisement. It's free money for them, but no, they decide to block it entirely. It's like, how
Well,
stupid.
The whole problem started with that people were actually dropping whole albums or whole movies on YouTube, and the copyright holders, or rather publishers specifically, were basically freaking out that YouTube will become the only source of entertainment for everybody. So they forced pretty much YouTube to actually automatically start taking this shit down.
Well, every time something happens, any one of these sites gets big, one of the first things that's going to happen is people are going to put music on it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like Napster, all that shit. Like, even like MySpace had music all over.
Yeah, they had there was a thing where when you go and visit somebody's MySpace page, automatically a song would start playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Curiously enough, MySpace actually pivoted into being mostly centered around music bands and stuff like that, and small artists. It worked for them to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a way to promote your bands and parties that you were going to have and stuff.
Absolutely.
And then Facebook happened and everyone went there, but they left that part behind. So it's just like, oh, fuck, advertising. Like, I guess.
Okay. Speaking of Facebook, let me ask you guys quickly. My Facebook right now is basically people from family and friends showing off their kids or new cars and shit like that. Completely useless to me, so I basically stopped even visiting it anymore. Do you even visit Facebook those days?
I did this sort of thing on Facebook for like a year and a half, and then I got sick of it because they wouldn't let me do what I wanted. It's so, and people were hating me. People I know started hating me, so I just stopped going, and I went to Twitter.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but again, like Billy was saying, I'll post something and people will be like, "How can you say that? It's not all Muslims." And I'm like, "Ah, fuck this." So it's just basically turned into like, it's nothing but cancer. You know, I'll post something and all these people that disagree with me, so my friend list will drop down. Every time I post something, I'm like, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, they were gonna kick me off for some reason. So I just said, fuck you, I'm not going back then. So it just sits there. And I use Messenger here and there.
So I guess Facebook is now becoming this safe space for basically soccer moms.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Everything gets sanitized. Facebook, YouTube essentially is eventually going to be sanitized to what they feel is appropriate content. Yeah.
Go to
I wasn't so sure about YouTube, actually. YouTube seems to be kind of doing okay as this weird mashup of everything strange and everything mundane. They even came through the recent apocalypse quite well. They introduced this super chat, which to some extent helps people to pass money to content creators. Sorry, Billy Bong. Content. So I think they will actually pull through it just fine without being overly sanitized.
Yeah, but I don't know. I did a video on the super chat before. I also feel that to a certain extent it kind of promotes this sort of like childlike asinine behavior, because you know people will give money, and most of the people who watch YouTube are, you know, pretty young kids, and they're into just like quick entertainment, and so people make money off of that rather than actually putting out content that, you know, means something and is well researched. And so yeah, I mean, I hope it's used to further people who really want to make quality content, but I feel like it really reinforces just quick entertainment, you know, something that they'll get views on and money for it, and that's it. But we'll see.
I mean, as long as they keep YouTube going the way it is right now, like I've already given up on the delusion that I'm going to be making much money off this shit. I'm enjoying it. And but as long as they still keep it going, I think it does somewhat make a difference, man. I mean, people communicating, like it is interesting to be able to expose these false narratives and keep major networks like CNN somewhat in check. You know, like I remember last year with the Milwaukee riots where they were almost forced to show that. Remember that guy's sister, I forgot the guy's name, killed by the cop, and CNN showed it that she was like, "Oh, we just want peace, stop burning shit down." Somebody, enough people on YouTube, the whole thing, fucking go to their neighborhood, burn their shit down. And you're like, ah.
Yep, exactly.
And I would love to know if that was strictly from YouTube, you know, or maybe Facebook.
That I don't know, man. That's the thing. I don't know if maybe, but does it have that much pull, or did it? No fucking idea.
I mean, I think YouTube has a lot of pull. I think one of the best things about YouTube is basically just like all of us. We can basically upload a video saying whatever we want, and people can watch it. And I think that's the best thing about YouTube. You don't see that on television. Like, you watch the news, you don't see like some random guy in Brooklyn talking about, you know, whatever. You see specific news that is only allowed to be shown in the country. And like Nachi was saying, sometimes people get clips of people that say stuff that has context to it. And whereas the news company will take it out of context, and they'll try to spin a narrative to try and make it look like she was trying to tell everybody to be peaceful. And in actuality, she was saying, no, go to their neighborhood and tear their shit down.
Which was fucking insane. And laughing about it after her, because I believe that was the sister. Like, her brother just got just nuts, man. And the joke was, I need my weave.
My weave, son. We need that weave. We need that shit.
Speaking of which, I see Mad Dodge Production suggesting that he would join for a 420 chat, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm trying to see what I'm trying to keep up with the comments in the chats and stuff. I don't know. I don't have Mad Dodge Productions. I don't know how to get in touch with the guy because I don't want to just put the little link right here.
I can do the deed if you want, no problem.
Yeah, sure, man. Invite him in. I was also thinking of inviting. So let me see if I invite this other guy who I've been keeping in touch with on Twitter. Let me see if he wants to jump in. I'm surprised Ogre didn't. I sent Ogre one as well.
I believe Ogre has been working quite hard today on his own farm, so he may be just simply out of strength at this point.
Right.
I had actually, yeah, he has some farm. I believe he farms chicken.
Nice.
Farm. He grows chicken, and not quite sure if any produce. Sorry, can't quite remember.
Wait, he grows chickens?
Whatever's the expression. Come on.
Yeah, haven't you ever buried an egg and then like a couple weeks later a chicken comes out?
Never.
Okay, laugh all you want, but actually, I believe there is one Chinese delicacy when you actually bury a chicken or similar egg for a few years.
No, they have the fucking, what's it called? The one where it's like half. Oh man, it's like well, I can't think of the word. Shit. Balut, it's called. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's
You
like
mean
it's like
the
a
Swedish or
chicken, like
Norwegian?
embryo. It's a Chinese or Asian shit. It's a it's like a chicken embryo, like, you know, a couple of weeks old or something. It's like not hatched and not. It's like half bird, half embryo. It's disgusting.
Some people eat some weird ass shit in this world.
It's like, you know, we get chicken eggs, they're fresh, so they haven't fucking grown at all. They haven't started changing form. This shit is like half chicken form and half.
Well, however you slice it, most people drink fermented fruits, or fermented grains. So it's pretty strange to me, you know. I mean, alcohol, it's all fermented stuff.
Yes,
right?
It's very strange.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that we're not strange. I mean, it's just it's also cultural, you know. Like, I went to Vietnam, and in Vietnam, some parts they eat dog. And so I was at my girlfriend's house, and this guy was like, you got to try dog. Have you ever had dog? And I'm like, no, I don't want to eat dog. He tried to convince me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to eat it. But it's just a cultural thing.
No, I remember being in China, dude. Over there, anything's up for fucking grabs, apparently, dude.
Yeah, bro, it's nuts.
Fucking hell, dude. Snakes, I remember that, seeing some.
Yep.
And they're all sold live. They sell them live. People buy them, and you get that's nature. We're so far removed from that. That's the whole thing. We're so far removed from that process.
Yep. Yeah, that's the same thing they do in Vietnam. Is like you'll go to a store and you'll buy a chicken or a pig or whatever, and then you can have somebody either kill it for you or you can take it home and kill it yourself, and then you eat it that night. It's like very fresh. It doesn't sit in the shelf. It doesn't, it's not wrapped up. It's all set to go, ready to eat.
Speaking of which, recently I've been reading how intelligent octopuses are, and
Yes,
actually at this
extremely.
point, I believe I wouldn't eat one anymore, even though I used to enjoy it because it's pretty tasty meat. But nah, not anymore. Just as well as I wouldn't eat a dolphin or, I don't know, a chimpanzee. Way too intelligent.
Well, if they're all that smart, why are we eating them?
Well, they haven't invented the gunpowder yet, I guess.
They haven't quite mastered tools. Okay, all right.
They need a thumb and they need to walk on land.
Yep.
For a couple 100,000 years. And
Exactly.
I've been trying to go vegan, but it's so difficult, man. Fuck it, I keep slipping on that fucking promise. And but it's surprisingly easy if I guess if you're always making your own meals, or if you really go out of your way to either go to vegan restaurants and shit like that, it is doable, and it's not as difficult as I would have thought. It's just that clearly, fucking
Speak for
So much-
yourself, man.
so much cheaper to-
I'm too poor to go vegan.
You're what?
I'm too poor to go vegan.
No, it's not that expensive. It's not even that expensive. Just not expensive at all. I've found.
Mm.
All right, I like meat too much to go vegan.
Yeah, I don't care to go vegan.
What up, Matt Dodge? Mute.
Hello?
Oh, he's muted.
No, we can hear them. It's just very faint.
I don't hear anything.
How's it going, man? Thanks for the invite.
Oh, man. Welcome, dude.
Hey.
Hello.
So we see. I don't think I've ever seen you around. You got your own channel, or?
Yeah, I have a crappy little channel.
Well, actually, this is a pretty nice channel. I've been a guest today, and it was nice. So, what are you saying, mate? It was cool.
How goes it?
Right now, shooting the shit. Stossel libertarian debate. I like it already. World War III coming soon. I don't know. Do you think so?
No.
I think this is all going to fizzle out. I like to think that everything that's going on now with the Black Lives Matter and the Islam, I don't know, but Black Lives Matter and stuff, I think that this is all going to fizzle out like a bad fart pretty soon.
I think Black Lives Matter really, when that shooting happened in Texas, it really scarred them. And so I think they kind of backed off, and I think a lot of people are seeing through their bullshit rhetoric. So I think Black Lives Matter is kind of they're falling to the wayside. But I don't really see World War III coming. I don't know what you're basing that on.
Well, I was raising that on bombing in Syria and the fact that Russia has Syria's back. That's where I was going with that.
Mm.
Oh, by the way, Ernest, what's up?
Hey, how's it
Good to
going?
meet you.
Not much, man. Not much. I'm just enjoying a nice old night in the frigid old north.
You want to introduce yourself there, man?
Yeah, how's it going? I'm Ernest. I do a podcast and a radio show. Also known to annoy my provincial government a fair bit, which is always an enjoyable task.
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to have Ernest on next week. He does some. He covers Canadian politics, and it is amazing how the whole left-right divide. That's just. It seems like it's all over the fucking world, dude.
You have no. We have the left-wing party right now advocating for private property ownership. It's crazy.
So Ernest, what's going on with the Muslim the laws over there in Canada with the Muslims? Are you aware of that?
I've heard about this bill. Well, it's a motion, I should say. It's not actually a bill passed into law. It's a slippery slope. But around here, people are a bit concerned about it, but they're not really bothered because we're trying to all get jobs, and it's not really easy. So And plus, no one's going to blow us up. I don't think. We're pretty isolated out here on this island, so we're pretty good.
Well, I was talking about the hate speech ban that they have on Muslims, so that you can't say anything negative about Muslims, otherwise it's considered hate speech.
Well,
that's not yet, right? That didn't. It wasn't even a bill, right?
No, it was only a motion. So,
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it's a motion, so it's not a law yet, but it has the potential to be passed into a law, which it is concerning.
Yes.
The Conservative Party did try to change it where it was like against everyone across the board, and the Liberals were just no, we must focus on Islamophobia. We must focus on it. It's
the woman that headed it. She was she's MSA.
Pakistani.
She's MSA also.
What is MSA?
It's a Muslim organization, Muslim student organization.
Oh.
They are, yeah, they're not as big in my area.
They're like Care for College, basically.
Okay.
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of Muslim student organizations.
So, Ernest, when does Canada vote on this motion? Or what process is it going to go to next?
The motion's already been voted in. Jordan Peterson actually discussed it. Professor Gadd, I believe his name is, gave a testimony to the Senate, which is our second level of legislature, and they've already stamped it through. So it is a motion. It is known about. It's there. If the government chooses to put it into law, it'll become a bill. But I haven't heard any rumblings from people that I know regarding it yet. I tend to have a few connections in government, federally and mostly provincially, but I still keep a pulse on it. And there is nothing on it right now. We're just really focused on legalizing marijuana.
You said what? You're bummed about legalizing marijuana?
No. I'm actually okay with it. I don't smoke up myself. I don't mind people who do, but I don't partake. But I really want it sold. But I don't want the government to sell it. And that's actually in my province, that's what they're debating lately, is if it should be sold through the government-owned liquor corporation. So they want to sell it right next to the two fours of whiskey and rum. So
yeah, that's how I feel too. I don't really smoke myself, but I think they should legalize it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the heroin is one thing. That shit's harmful. But marijuana, I've never met a violent stoner.
Yeah, too many stoners going at killing spree.
No, they don't. If they start, you just give them chicken wings, and they just shut up and just start munching away and giggling, and it's glorious.
What were you gonna say, Billy?
I was gonna say black criminals definitely smoke weed.
Oh, okay.
Or most criminals smoke weed. Actually, I would say.
But like in bars when you deal with somebody who's like really drunk, they're like they either like love you or hate you. But I've never experienced that with like somebody who's like incredibly stoned. They're like, they're usually pretty mellow, and it's like, maybe they say something stupid and giggle and get something to eat, but that's about it.
How many gangsters smoke weed? Obviously, gang members and shit, gang bangers, they all fucking smoke weed.
Everyone here is overdosing, actually. They're all doing fentanyl by accident because they're cutting it into pills, and the government is now running around flailing their arms and screaming about a fentanyl crisis and an opioid problem, which is honestly, it's getting pretty bad. I mean, people are breaking into seniors, like senior citizens' houses and stealing their pills. It's
but would they be doing that if it was legal? I would say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the poverty level here is relatively stunning. So I believe that people would still be breaking into homes to acquire these opioids. And marijuana, though, I mean, no one's breaking into, the pharmacy and saying, "Give me the medical marijuana." They're not that desperate. But I mean, when you have like a really bad addiction, it's just getting crazy. And the police around here honestly don't know how to handle this. So hopefully the weed will mellow things out a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what's going on anymore. All I know is that people are super stoked to smoke up for next year.
Mhm.
So we'll have a very good liberal government for the next few years.
Yeah. See, I I think personally all drugs should be legalized and controlled.
How would they be controlled?
They would be controlled, meaning that it's like they wouldn't be sold on the street. They would be sold through either a pharmacy or like a privately owned recreational facility where people can buy drugs and use them, or they could take them home and use them. But they can't like go out on the street and use them. If you're out on the street using the drugs, then you could be arrested. It's just like alcohol. You can go to a bar and drink. You can go home and you can drink, but you can't go out on the street and drink.
You know,
It depends on where you are. In Nevada, you could walk down the road with a beer, which I love. But
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not completely legal, even though people do it. Right?
No, it's pretty illegal here, honestly. Yeah, you'll get the drunk tank for that here, but
Right.
I mean, I am in favor of, like I said, marijuana. I'm perfectly fine because I think marijuana is pretty much victimless. But things like heroin are
terrible.
Mm-hmm.
it is.
But they can be decriminalized. They can be decriminalized like they did in Portugal.
Right,
or
exactly.
Spain, yeah.
Yeah, decriminalize it. Yeah, because I've seen people on heroin, they just kind of, they just sort of nod out, and that's just how they do it. But I mean, I think it should be legalized first of all to make sure that, like, sometimes you'll hear about some like black tar that goes around. It's really bad. People shoot it up and then they die from it. So you get people who get bad heroin, then you get people who get like really addicted to heroin, and it's just if it was controlled, it would be much better.
Well,
Yeah. There wouldn't be so much bad heroin if it was legalized, right? I mean, they don't know the dosage. They don't know what's in it. I mean,
no, I
And
mean,
then also heroin addicts have to get a hold of clean needles, and sometimes people will not be selling clean needles. They'll be selling dirty needles. Here in San Francisco, they have a needle exchange program, so you can go in and get clean needles for dirty needles. Which is awesome.
I sort of, that annoys me though. It's like, so we gotta look out for your fucking dumbass. We gotta control the reject drug addict who can't fucking use clean needles and shit. Like, it's so fucking condescending. It's like, oh
yeah, but it's a different way of looking at it because they're gonna do it anyhow. It doesn't matter. They're gonna do it anyhow. They're either gonna get a hold of a dirty needle or a clean needle and shoot. So you might as well, if you can, give them a clean needle to shoot so that the needle doesn't end up on the street and little kids don't pick them up or something. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with you, Billy, but there's also a benefit to it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Double-edged sword. It could be. Is it promoting it or is it helping control it? Who knows?
At
this point,
I don't know. That's really. I mean, that's up for. I mean, if I said that it's not promoting it, I would be lying.
If it actually scientifically will make less people heroin addicts and make people healthier,
yeah,
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but yes, when you legalize something, it does take the stigma away from it. It's like when they made alcohol illegal, it was like that was. They had all these speakeasies and all these things that come up and all these people run around getting alcohol. And then it was legalized again. And then all of that dropped away, like crime dropped away, abuse of alcohol lessened. So yeah, when you take away the stigma from drugs, yes.
Yeah, but the crime that went away was crime that only started because they took it away. So
exactly.
No, but this is different. Like, I don't know, heroin, there's a stigma for a reason. I don't know. Like, people are not victimless usually with like hard drug addicts, like crackheads and fucking meth heads and heroin addicts because they fucking steal from family.
Wait.
Heroin, you don't necessarily heroin, you don't necessarily have to shoot. You can smoke heroin too.
I know.
Yeah, but they steal because of the stigma, right? They steal because it's illegal. They can't hold a job because they're a user.
Exactly,
well, it's also the
well, then make it legal, and then there is no stigma, and they'll be okay. Well, I mean, not okay, all right, not okay, but You know what I mean? They'll actually be able to hold a job. They won't have to steal.
There's still going to be a black market.
Oh, always. Even with marijuana, there's going to be.
Yeah.
So if there's a black market, people are stealing.
Yeah.
Well,
But I think one of the benefits of it is that you can use the money that is generated through the legalization of drugs and put that money into recovery homes, so that the people who do get addicted to heroin, who want to kick it, they can check into one of these places, and they'll be funded through the drug itself to get clean. So
Yeah, instead of prisons, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, as long as they're being non-violent, you would think that there's no need to put them in prisons. But what do you do about the dealers themselves, where they're getting it from? Because it's funny. There was one comment from somebody here in the chat that they were, and I don't know if they were being funny or if they got it wrong, but they were saying methamphetamine is a hell of a drug which should in no way, shape, or form be illegal. So I'm being sarcastic, or he misspelled legal. Anyway, the point is, yeah, here it is. Methamphetamine is a hell of a drug and in no way should be illegal. I would assume he probably meant legal, but let me see what he says afterward. But
well,
that's,
when you're talking about methamphetamine, why are we giving it to children for ADD medication, but adults don't have the right to choose to do it?
Because actually, amphetamines on a hyperactive kid or ADHD actually has the reverse effect. Instead of speeding them up, it actually calms them down and allows their mind to focus.
it really does.
Would you say that they overdiagnose it though? I mean, I would.
They do.
Yeah. I mean, again, I mean, this is just what I've heard. I don't know specifically all the stuff around it.
I have ADHD myself, and I know for a fact that it does help. And I do know that it is effective. I tell you this though, it's bloody expensive. I really don't like to talk about it because I mean it's my personal business. I wouldn't be able to work. I would be unfocused. I wouldn't be able to pay attention on things, and it helped me a lot when I was younger in school. If not, I probably wouldn't have. It's effective, but only in these kinds of circumstances, I believe. And people do overprescribe it. I have seen this. I've seen them give it to kids, and they're zombified, and they're just like these. Because around here, it's if a kid even like jumps up and down, and they're like 8. Parents like, okay, that's too much. Mom and dad need their wine time. You have to take this pill and sit in the corner and stare at I don't know this discarded allergy pill box. And they go on their way. I'm not very good at comedy, just insulting government officials.
Yeah, there was a Family Guy episode where Stewie gets put on an ADHD drug, and he just like turns to this really calm guy. His eyes get all big, and he just sits there and goes, "Wow, I never thought about that." And he's like completely mellow because it has a reverse effect on him.
By the way, now go ahead, finish.
No, like it kind of does have that effect, but I mean, for the people who it's not meant for, it really can slow them down like this.
Oh, who'd we lose?
Hello?
Anyway, is it probably the sound? Should be coming back.
Oh, Ernest, we lost Ernest.
Just say that the guy meant to say that in no way it should be legal. So, but then he's saying that amphetamine is not the same as methamphetamine. Did not know that.
Really?
I'm assuming methamphetamine is probably meaning crystal meth.
Sorry there, boys. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah,
That's all right. Welcome back. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know there was a difference between amphetamines and methamphetamines. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And even the medications are like what they would give someone with ADD. I don't need it anymore, luckily. I've grown out of it, thank God. But I do know that it is a different formula, and it's definitely not, what the truckers are taking to get across the U.S. in record-breaking time. Yeah. But it, like I said, it'll like I was trying to say, it'll chill you out if you're not meant to have it. But for someone like me or someone who has ADHD or OCD, things like that, it it really just normalizes you, I guess.
Mhm.
You just calm the hell down, but you're not like zombified. And so I'm a bit mixed
Well,
on, distributing this
my
drug.
point would be though that we're giving this pill form crystal meth to children, but marijuana isn't good in any form. I mean, so where do we draw the line on drug laws?
Honestly,
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. What'd you say, Mad Dodge? About marijuana? It's not good in any form?
Yeah, it's a Schedule 1 drug, right? So like LSD is okay. They'll prescribe that. They never do, but they would. Same with ecstasy, crystal meth, obviously, in pill form. Marijuana, which doesn't hurt anybody at all, is just horrible and has no good use as far as the federal government's concerned.
Yeah, see, I would disagree there because it actually does help with like cataracts. It does help with blood flow. It's helped people who are suffering from HIV to get an appetite back. So, I mean, there is benefits to marijuana.
Well, yeah, but where do you draw the line, though, would be my question. Because how is giving pill form meth to kids okay, but weed for the medical patients in certain states is bad?
I mean, the line is essentially subjective because if you look at the statistics again, which I don't have in front of me, but I mean, there's more accidents, more negative consequences of alcohol abuse than there are of marijuana abuse.
Yes.
And so I mean, it's essentially subjective. So I mean, if you look back in the history of how drugs became illegal, I mean, especially marijuana became illegal because of like the jazz clubs, the concern about these white women going into these jazz clubs and getting all up on reefer and, becoming promiscuous. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of subjective in my opinion.
It is now. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
Well, I would say then let's not give the government the ability to regulate any drugs and just let the free market sort it out.
So far, it's going like that, right? It's been state, right? It's not even the state. It's been, well, the states legalize it, and then they it's all private owned shit usually, right?
Yeah, I mean, state by state,
Colorado and California, it's all.
Yep, in California, it's pretty much legal. It's definitely legal for medical use, and now it's going to be legal for recreational use, I think.
Well, yeah, like Washington and Colorado are the first two. Mm-hmm. So, like, are there most of the businesses private?
No, but
I think they are private.
It's not legal. Like the federal government.
I know it's state legal though. Yeah. But they're doing it in that way, that libertarian way, at the moment. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's going state by state, and then eventually it's probably just going to become federal, and it's just going to become legal across the United States. That's what I'm thinking.
Unless someone becomes a cocksucker. And it's just like
that's always a possibility.
Well, it'll be legal here by the next Canada Day, so next July 1st, and it'll be pretty good. But I mean, we've always had generally pretty liberal marijuana laws in Canada, at least from when I was growing up. And I'm not, it's going to be pretty good. The only problem is that the government is going to take it here and tax the guts out of it. And and what's going to happen is that the weed is going to be legal, and it's going to be a novel thing for a while. And then once people start realizing, damn it, I got to pay like double or triple what I paid for what do they call it, a gram? I guess I'm not a. So I mean, they're going to say, look, well, I don't want to pay this much for this. I mean, I don't care if it's legal. What am I going to do? So then, Billy down the road says, hey, I've got some cheap stuff here, and I'll sell it to you half the price, tax free. Okay, good enough. He's going to go out and do that. And if the police pull this guy over, how do they know how do we know that his weed is the government, regulated marijuana, as opposed to the, I grew it in my backyard and it's pretty cool stuff.
Well, I'm not gonna say that I ever sold weed necessarily, but the price in Oregon has dropped considerably since it was legalized.
Well, it's going to have to, at least the non-taxed marijuana, because I mean, people are going to still want to sell it and compete and make money, but they don't want to go through all the hoops and regulations that the government is going to bring. And listen, I live in Canada. This is the capital.
I mean, the government, the shops, the pot shops, the prices dropped so low that it's pointless to even try to sell weed in Oregon on the black market.
Yeah,
like really, I mean, even including taxes.
Well, I'm just going by here. Like here, we have a 15% service tax, sales tax on everything. Like just in my province alone, we have one of the highest taxes, and the government will also add a few more taxes to this. I know for a certain fact to add their profits because we're significantly in debt. I think I've told Nachi this myself that we have our debt is frighteningly large. So the government is desperate to make any money, and since the bottom fell out of the oil, we need something. So marijuana is a blessing, and they're going to tax this to death. So the black market, I believe personally, is going to thrive here for a good while to come, while we try to snake our way out of our debt crisis.
Well, back in the day, it was like $420 for an ounce. That's $15 a gram. And now you can get an ounce out of the pot shop for like $150. I mean, the price is completely dropped.
I don't have that luxury. My state is the worst. They're like so strict with the medical laws. They just started it and they're like so strict about it. So there's like recreational is I don't even know when it's coming.
No, same thing here. Even though if you can sweet talk your way at some other places, they will sell. You know how to talk to the people, but now they're starting to have the quasi medicinal. I guess we're going through that same first phase that they went through in California and in Oregon and shit like that. And I was surprised that the other day in this one area in Wynwood, there was this one place, and to me, because I just didn't even know what to ask. But this one friend of mine asked just the right question, and yeah, he got a $10 bag of weed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of like look through like what is treated for marijuana, right? So if you happen to have one of those symptoms, then you can go to a doctor and say, hey, I have this symptom. I've heard that marijuana is good for it, and then there's a good chance they'll probably give you a prescription for it. So,
well, here they've like what you're saying about, they're still in the early stages of like the medical marijuana, and that as soon as people heard that the government was even considering legalizing marijuana, they rented property in the capital of my province and started setting up and like selling edibles and gummy bears made of weed. And they literally had big signs with pot leaves on them. And weed was not even legal. So right away, the RNC comes and kicks down the door and takes all their dope. And the chief of the RNC comes out and he's like, yeah, marijuana's not legal yet. So please stop opening marijuana shops and distributing, marijuana products, especially the adorable gummy bears loaded with THC. We really, until we're legalized, just stop, or you will go to jail. And 2 more stores opened. So the police were just saying, listen, stop. And they all got arrested. So I don't know how that logic escaped them, but it just did. So we're still in the weird growing stages as well of
what happens first time some kid gets a gummy bear?
It
hits the news.
Well, it'll come on, and you'll have one of our 3 news anchors in the entire province come on and pretty much say, think about the children. And little Timmy felt really groovy after eating that gummy bear and kept
overdosed on eating nachos.
Well, these are like the bad things that could happen at the beginning stages of this that can just make it revert. like with a specific, depending on who's in office, I guess.
Yeah, they'll just blow it out of proportion.
Well, it can be, and I think that, I mean, the whole gummy bear thing for a while. I mean, people here are generally okay with marijuana. You still have the older people who are,
Yeah.
this is the Satan's bush and all this stuff.
Satan's bush. Yeah.
The words we have for it here are crazy, but I mean, I'm also running for municipal government pretty soon. I'm trying to be as polite as I can because I honestly care about my community, so I'm trying to be.
What up, August?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for inviting me.
There's
This
an
guy
obvious
was mentioning
internet
about
troll.
methamphetamine and the difference with amphetamines.
Okay, amphetamine is a pure derivative of a stimulant pharmaceutically. Methamphetamine is derived not only from the amphetamine, but various other chemicals depending on the formula.
Huh.
Like it can be cut with antipsychotics, it can be cut with household chemicals, it can be cut with whatever's lying around.
Well, yeah, that's because it's illegal, right?
Right, but if you made meth legal, it would just be making amphetamine legal.
Huh. This is such a far cry from War Machine, the movie. But
Yeah, really.
By the way, speaking about Kathy Griffin, I think you guys touched on it earlier. I wonder what would happen if it had been, like, I don't know, Nick DiPaolo holding a Hillary Clinton hit. I wonder if everyone would be more outraged, like the left would freak out, because the left is kind of taking this Hillary joke. I wonder if everyone would be.
oh god.
Yeah, because that would also be the patriarchy
The
too.
left is kind of taking this Hillary joke. I wonder if
Well, aren't those people on the right now that are going nuts about it?
they are, but I
It's
mean,
like both ends of these idiots are doing this.
but I mean, I'm sure we all agree today.
Ogre is echo from somebody.
Somebody's got an echo going on. Somebody.
I think it's ogre.
Ogre.
Oh, it looks like it was over.
Yeah.
I just muted him. Let me unmute him.
I was just gonna do that.
No, I'm muted. It can't be me.
It is you. No, we just muted you.
I've been muted the whole time.
I guess. Yeah, it's maybe over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be him.
I'm such a moron. I had the daggone thing on where it was me. Sorry.
That's all right.
Thanks for jumping on, man.
I just jumped on to smoke this joint before I went to bed, and also say there is a big debate on methamphetamine, and I would like to hear the difference between Ritalin or Adderall and bathtub crank and that glass stuff they make out in Casa Grande, New Mexico, because I know a ton of truck drivers that use meth every day.
Yeah,
Really?
Now they're not sitting there just tweaking and they're not staying up all night, but I just, and listen, I'm going to shut up and listen, but I have a problem making things illegal unless you're stealing my lawnmower to get it or beating me or raping me. That's all.
Hey, I got to say, I really like that sun hat.
Thank you, brother. It's a Silver Waves made in yeah, that's probably a joke, but it's a Silver Wave sun hat made in San Francisco.
Nice.
Wait, is that the same cowboy looking hat?
Oh yeah, this is the same hat you drew, Nachi. It's the same exact hat. I had safety pins in it. My whole suit, I'll tell you about it one day when it's not on your stream. My whole suit is a mockery of the system, bro. I could tell you all about each piece, but
No, but it's cool, man. I like that.
no. So and also it is your stream. But so where did he go? Obvious. Tell me the difference between what you were methamphetamines and like the difference between Adderall and Ritalin and like method. You know, you think of a tweaker with the glass thing and they're fucking, you know, talking about I'm God and I've been up for fucking 2 weeks. What's the difference?
Okay. Methamphetamine is a derivative of amphetamine. They take amphetamine and then cut it with other chemicals, which causes a chain reaction. It can be cut with bathtub chemicals. It can be cut with other pharmaceuticals, usually antipsychotics, other stimulants, and it can cause adverse side effects. Adderall and Ritalin is pure amphetamine. It's just pharmaceutical grade stimulant. In moderation, it can cause mild psychoses in people that aren't supposed to take it. But when you start making methamphetamine, it could be just about anything. It's just whatever happens to be lying around. And they cut it with ammonia, they cut it with bleach, they cut it with glues, paint thinner. It's just whatever the dealer happens to prefer using the chemical with.
And now, stupid question. That's the same as crystal meth. That's what we're talking about. It's just crystal meth is a street, right?
Yeah, crystal meth is a pure derivative of methamphetamine. It means it's a little cleaner, but it's still just as dangerous. It's like crocodile. Mm-hmm. It's a purely synthetic, unregulated drug.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the same as crocodile. That shit will rot you. I mean, fuck.
Well, it rots your skin and your brain like crocodile does, but meth is just as bad. It'll eat somebody's brain away.
Boy, I've never seen nothing quite like that crocodile, though. I gotta second that. The crocodile, man, is you know what that is the tailings of the shit when they make cocaine. And anyway, if y'all haven't seen Vice's thing on crocodile, go watch it sometime when Nachi's not streaming. It's fucking horrific. And I don't even think that should be illegal. I will stick to my guns. I think if you want to shoot some shit like that up, go do it. Just don't fucking rape my wife or steal my lawnmower.
Is that the dregs of...
That shit wouldn't be around, though, if heroin wasn't illegal. They made that to be a substitute for heroin, right? It's a cheaper substitute.
Crocodile may have come out of a narco-terrorist scheme. Like, there's reports coming in that it's intentionally a tainted drug just to cause an epidemic. That's the problem with drugs illegal, is it allows for narco-terrorism to arise. It's the same problem in Mexico. When we have illegal drugs, there's a potential to taint the supply. We had this problem with Prohibition in America, when they were basically cutting bathtub gin with like wood ether. Mm-hmm. And it was poison. That was my point earlier.
Yeah, no, and once again, it's because it's illegal.
Well, and a little trivia: who knows how many people were killed by alcohol that was made poorly during Prohibition on record? Does anybody know, or how it was poisoned?
I have no idea.
The U.S. government is the one responsible for every known death because they poisoned alcohol to say, look, you don't know when you'll get a bad batch. And then they started the idea of going blind and all this stuff. People that make moonshine and whatnot, they don't want you to die. They want you to buy more. Anyway, and that's why I don't think things should be illegal. You make it illegal. You make Al Capone. All of these things, Nachi. I mean, you can't just, how can I tell you, Nachi, you can't fucking drink a glass of wine, or you can't smoke a doobie, or you can't shoot heroin or do it. I can't do that because you will do and I will do and everyone will do what they want. The only thing I'm doing by doing that is making a black market and creating these huge inflated prices. All these problems. I'm just so
exactly. That's how I feel about it too.
No, I'm okay with there being regulated, clean substances, but not just, hey, let's go make some bath salts.
I was gonna say, like, who fucking decided to cut that shit and make it something else, and then decide to ingest it somehow and be like, let's see what it does. Like,
yeah, really.
Oh God, bath salts. If anything should be illegal, there is the poster child. I mean, y'all seen the videos of people like on that shit, man. It's unreal.
Yeah, fucking insane. There's another drug
is
like
terrible, like that fucking Sylvia, whatever it's called.
Sativa?
No, it's
fake. Salvia. It's like an incense. You can get it from head shops. Yeah.
Terrible.
I know kids that do that, folks. I'm talking about one boy I know is 15 and he does that salvia, and boy, that doesn't look like it's doing anything.
No.
Yeah, but that's synthetic, isn't it? Or is that synthetic?
It's synthetic.
Drugs? It's
synthetic. Put it in stuff called like K2, which is synthetic weed.
Yeah, it's not weed at all.
Well, they cut it. Salvia added to K2, which is a synthetic weed, which is right up there with bath salts.
Now, this is Pineapple Express. It ain't the synthetic, but I recommend it to anybody that smokes marijuana. The movie made it popular, but this is the best fucking sativa indica blend I've ever smoked in my life. It'll make you feel like you're floating on a cloud of titties.
Not really Pineapple Express. Is it? They're such a.
No, this is the real deal. This is a Pineapple Express. I got it from Royal Dutch Genetics from overseas there in Holland.
And what is it? Is it 50-50? 50%?
No, it's a 90-10. It's 90% sativa and 10% indica. They just got the indica in there so that it's done in 6 weeks. I actually grow it for 8 to make it really purple and orange and pink and fucking dank. It's so dank, it'll knock your dick in the dirt if you ain't used to smoking it. We call it the clamper because, you know, like weekend warriors will come and be like, oh, I smoked the wheelchair weed. Let me hit that. And I'll be like, hey, man, take it easy. I do that on purpose because everybody, when you tell them that, they're like, poof, poof, poof. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, I feel funny. Did you lace this shit? It's like, yeah, I laced it with THC, you fucking moron.
The thing is, I noticed when I was in the Netherlands and I smoked pure sativa, I enjoyed weed again because I've been noticing like the weed that I've gotten here and there, it just fucking knocks me out way too quickly. Either I'm smoking too much of it or it's knocking me out, but it's most, if I'm not mistaken, it's mostly indica.
Yeah, you're probably like me. You're probably just not an indica guy, and there's so many indica snobs now, and I don't want to go to sleep, man. I use marijuana. It's for my post-traumatic stress disorder. I want to go to fucking work. Don't give me a bunch of indica, man. Give me some sativa so I can get a buzz on and think about life and work. You know, that's why I like it.
Yes.
Has anybody ever smoked G13? It was like a early government strain. They were giving it out.
G13. I supposedly smoked that one.
Well, I buy seeds from G13 Labs, and listen, folks, that's an urban myth. The government did not grow that. They actually named a weed after that after American Beauty became famous. They just named a strain that. The idea that the government weed comes from, look, I don't want to talk about weed. I'll try to dominate this shit, Nachi, sorry. But I do know a little bit about marijuana. It comes from one place in Arkansas, might be Mississippi. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. And the government weed is bullshit. It's just like the Canadian weed there, Ernest, because now like the Canadian government's trying to take over it. So they take the plant, grow it. When it's harvested and ripe, it should be good, and they should trim the buds up. They hack it all up. Bang leaves and all, stems and all, put it in a fucking bag and send it to you. And it's like, wow, this could have been good if you picked I mean, I know a Canadian that actually smokes them with me. And so, you know, government shit is garbage is the point.
Well, I actually cannot make any input into this conversation because honestly, like I've said, I don't smoke marijuana. I don't use any kind of drugs. It's just, I don't mind people who do. It's just my personal choice, you know, and I respect people who do. It's just,
no, Ernest, look.
My head.
No, Ernest. Let me just say. Let me bring this. This is my second chat, and I'm starting to realize what It's fun. I'm having fun, but it's funny how it gets taken over when you invite a lot of people. I was going to do a chat just to let everybody know. I was going to do a chat with Ernest next week about Canadian politics because I find it really fascinating what goes on, how they structure everything over there in the parallels. So don't worry about it, man. If drug talk for you is it's a little too much to handle, that's fine, man.
No, and I'm sorry, Nachi. In fact, listen, I'm going to split because there is a bunch of people, and I just basically wanted to come on and get Obvious's take on the amphetamines because I don't know much about it. Nachi, you do such a great job, mate. Keep up the good work. I look forward to your content. Anybody that's not helping Nachi in one way or another, come on, give the brother a hand one way or another. At least tell him he's doing a good job. Y'all have a great night. Thanks, Notch.
All right, Ogre. Take care.
Over.
Night.
Sorry, guys. Go on.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Nachi, did you get a chance to look at any of the things I've referred you to?
No, not just yet, because I wanted to see if I could like sit down and really
you'll have a stroke
prep myself for it.
You'll have like I'm serious. I'm just going to say this. I'm sorry to I'm just kind of giving a heads up on some of the stuff. My province has 500,000 people, and we owe $13 billion.
To who?
I really honestly don't even want to think about who we owe it to. We just owe $13 billion, and this year our deficit is $800 million. It was supposed to be $1 billion. We're building a giant hydroelectric plant that is not going to generate any profit for 20 years for this province, and we thought it was a good idea at the time, and it's really not. And the electricity prices are now going to double in the next few years, and the lights are going off on Grandma.
Yeah, it's just that there's some guy in Canada who owes me $13 million. I was just curious if maybe it was your government.
Well, funny thing is, and here's another fact.
I don't think I'm ever going to see that money again.
No, you're not. We're really awful at paying back money.
They're using it up.
Well,
Canadians.
Yeah,
here's the best part. But the finance minister has a high school diploma. That's it.
really?
Yeah. Her claim to fame is that she started working at McDonald's as a teenager and then worked so hard that she bought a McDonald's and then bought several more. And her business acumen is guiding the financial principles of my province. And we're all screwed.
Well, she has more education than me, at least.
I've got a trade. I've got a trade, but I don't. I mean, if I need to order big nuggets, I know who to call. But if I want to diversify my economy and get us out of an economic slump, I'm really not calling her. I'd rather call someone who's actually been to university.
Well, I don't know about that. A lot of the universities are turning out some serious grad students.
Oh, trust me, I know. The university near me is scary. We have all these like foreign students coming over, and they're demanding that the education be either free or be at the same level as the people who are born here, who live here, whose education is subsidized to an extent by the government. We have the lowest tuition rates in the country, and it's because our tax dollars go towards the local people, which is generally the point. And what I love is that the local student union president was on TV talking about how it should be free or it should be affordable for students, and how the government needs to step in and do it. And on her Twitter feed, a black anarchist flag. And it made no sense to me that someone who's preaching anarchism is demanding that the government, the very government that she's supposedly against, steps in and make sure that she has a nice education so she can go back to her country and not stay in my province.
Hey, Ernest, are you on a cell phone?
Yeah, my
Is it plugged into your computer?
It's not. It gave out.
Okay, it's just that we hear you clearly, and then you kind of dip away into like not an echo, but kind of like a fade, like you're in the distance, and then it comes back again. So I was just curious.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
That's
I kind of moved around for a second there.
Guys, I gotta hop out.
All right, man. Thanks again for helping me out.
Yeah.
How's it going,
No
Bill?
problem, Nachi. Thank you.
All right,
guys. Good night.
Talking, brother.
Yeah, but yeah, we're in trouble. That's what I will say. And actually, I'll go into it a little bit more detail in our next live stream. But it's scary to live here, man.
Oh, sorry. Somebody's cutting off there. Something's like getting chopped off there.
Well, the thing is, free education is not free education.
No, it's not.
Somebody has to pay for that.
Well, no, and it's not the government's job really to control all the education anyway. It should go back to the states, or if you're in Canada, the provinces.
Well,
It's not the federal government's job, would be my point.
the provincial government here is what the education for the people in the province. So much money, but they're too busy spending it on things that we don't need. It's our 150th anniversary of like the founding of Canada, and the government in Ontario spent, I think,
Yeah. Sorry. Can barely hear you. Getting
yeah.
there?
Sorry.
The other thing is, if you have a bunch of
Can you guys
people,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, I just dropped my Wi-Fi off. The joys of Canada. But
Oh.
yeah, we're having our 150th birthday in Canada, like the anniversary, and the government in Ontario spent 250,000 taxpayer dollars or more, I think, on a giant inflatable duck to celebrate Canada.
the hell does the duck have to do with anything?
We really don't know. If it was a moose, it would be, or a beaver, it would be slightly more explainable.
Maybe.
We don't know. They just raised the minimum wage from $11 to $15, so they're really not very rational lately up there.
Huh.
Hmm.
The other thing is, it's not about how many people go to college, it's the quality of education and what they're learning. And I don't see America, I don't know about Canada, but I don't see America churning out a bunch of STEM students that are creating new technologies. I mean, China is just copying everything and creating better versions of it, like cell phones and shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly because they don't have the technology. But here, I know, for example, that in my province, we're mostly a sea-based, ocean-based economy, and our oceanic engineering programs are top-notch. I really don't know about the rest, but so I believe it is to do with the quality, where the students' backgrounds are, how hard they want to work for it, and things like that. Now, when we take away from that and we go into things like gender studies and 18th century Irish, I don't know, it gets a bit strange, and there's not really much scientific improvements in that. And I find that my province is moving away from STEM, frighteningly so. And
Yeah.
Yeah, the education system is definitely the backbone of all economies in the future, and I think especially America, and it sounds like Canada and other places, they don't realize that. Yeah, but if we turn out educated students, I mean, it's only a benefit. But right now, college is just out of the reach of so many poor to middle class people. It's ridiculous.
Man, I've tried to go back to school myself a couple of times, man, and it's been just a frustrating mess every single time I do. And I'm always looking at least $20,000 to $30,000 just to complete my fucking bachelor's.
Exactly. Yeah, it's expensive.
Say what?
Half that for here. We got the lowest tuition in the country. It's well, if you're from America, you probably paid a little bit less, still around the same. And even me, like, I want to go back, but I used to live in an oil city, and I worked for an oil company and bought a Jeep that I really shouldn't have bought. So next year I pay it off, and then I'm going to college to do political science. So that'll be hopefully a very interesting turn of events. But it is still quite a difficult thing to obtain. I've got a family who have university degrees, and I honestly don't want their dead. So it is, the whole aspect of owing them money is a bit of a turnoff for me. But there is ways that you can significantly reduce your debt, at least. Well, here, if you have, like, for example, Indian status, I believe they cover 50% of your costs.
Hey, I just want to say real
Nachi,
quick,
I gotta cut out. But thanks for the stream. All you guys, take care. It was nice meeting you. Hopefully, I'll run into you again. All right.
Definitely. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's about what I was gonna say too. Is I gotta go. The kid's screaming and the old lady wants to watch TV. So thank you.
Nice meeting you, Bad Bunch.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Later, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be cutting it off pretty soon also because I gotta take off myself.
Yeah, I got work in the morning.
Mark's back on.
Hi guys, what did I miss?
A lot of drug talk in Canadian politics and the fucking
Okay, so I guess I may be glad that I missed this part because it kind of flies above my head, you know.
Look who's back.
Oh, Ogre.
You're back to work.
I just heard you saying you were gonna leave when I seen people dropping off. I was only coming to give support. So I guess I'm just gonna split again. Nachi, cool. You're a monster. You did like 3 hours on my stream earlier. You're a fucking stone cold stud.
I'm unemployed is what I am. That's what No, man. No, it's been great, man, having people on and shit. I mean, this is my second stream, so I'm trying to see how to manage it and shit like that. And we strayed so far from the original topic, which was supposed to be a war machine. And actually, the original topic was supposed to be with Billy Bong. But then I started seeing people on the chat and stuff, and I wanted to start inviting everybody, and which is great, you know. But
yeah, you started saying people. Beware when you start saying things. That will be the breaking point, you know. When you start saying things just as well as people, that will be breaking point. Beware of it.
Okay. We'll keep that.
I try to be productive during the conversation and add to it. I'm not good at Canadian politics, obviously, but things like social issues are a huge problem, and they're generally something that I know about because I have to deal with.
No, and I remember getting in touch with you through the chat and stuff through the private messenger. I definitely want to have just one chat with you, obvious, because what you were telling me about. I think that should be for one chat. I think from now on, whenever I do chats, I think it's best to like have just two people at best, because then it just becomes this.
It's an orgy of conversation.
No, I mean, yet it's stuff that I really appreciate and do want to touch on. But yeah, that's what I've noticed with a lot of chats. Once you get like more than 5 people on, it's hard to manage. I'm not good with that. I mean, obviously, I've just let everybody talk and do their thing. But
yeah, well, it just gets derailed because somebody brings up something irrelevant, and then it just sort of moves along that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude. Hey, man, I'm glad you guys were tuned in and Ernest. Like I said, if you still want to do it next Wednesday, man,
I'm in.
It'll just be on Canadian politics. I'm definitely going to do my research on the information you sent me, and
you'll have
get
fun.
into that.
You'll have fun. I wouldn't mind doing a little discussion about a few things down there. And also, by the way, I just want to say, as someone who speaks Spanish, Viva Venezuela Libre. I gotta say that, man. I'm that's one thing I'm highly passionate about, and what's going on in Venezuela disgusts me beyond.
Nice. And my wife was pointing out today the Goldman Sachs sent them on a lifeline. I'm just going by the headline, but they sent them a lifeline of like I don't know how many billions of dollars to keep Maduro going, and I'm like, what the fuck? I mean,
he should be going somewhere that isn't Venezuela, because I seen him salsa when they were cracking down on the riots. I got some friends in Venezuela right now who were just like we're scared to go out because the collectivos are going around on motorcycles and shooting people, and my government has literally said zero on this. Trudeau met with the wife of someone who's in jail, and other than that, I've really heard nothing, and I'm stunned. But then again, Trudeau, and I know you hate Castro, Nachi, and honestly, I do too. He said that Fidel Castro was a visionary, a revolutionary, and things like that. And he left a big legacy. And so I really don't think I'm going to hear too much from the prime minister on fighting this Maduro nonsense when he's praising people like bloody Fidel.
Right.
Well, on the subject of the war machine, you guys realize there's like 15 countries across the world that are under martial law.
Well, right now, I believe the Philippines is one of them, right?
I think it's only one island.
Right, because and of course Islam once again, but yeah, which ones else are under? Do you know a couple of others off the top of your head?
I know. Go ahead.
Oh, Venezuela's one. I know that for certain. They've just restricted freedom of travel in the countryside.
Turkey's another one.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that Turkey was. Huh.
Yeah.
They tried to fucking pull it off over here when Erdogan was here with the fucking protesters, and they just started beating down. That was insane. That was insane, man. And the interesting thing about how they pulled that off is that it had nothing to do with Islam. That was so obvious a power play. I mean, it's so that's the thing that really frustrates me and scares me to see that about people who follow religion or whatever, or follow just that mindless groupthink, is how they don't see that like the saying, follow the money trail, follow the power trail too. And it was so obvious with Erdogan that it was just about that motherfucker wanting to make sure that he is in absolute control, and to do that here in our country.
They did the same thing. Like he wanted to have a rally in the Netherlands, and the Dutch said no. And he got so mad that his followers went out and started stabbing oranges, which really made no sense. And they even burned the wrong flag. So I don't think Erdogan supporters are very well-educated people.
I remember.
Did you say they were stabbing oranges, as in fruits?
They were stabbing oranges. I believe it was to protest the House of Orange, who's the ruling.
Yeah, that would be the sense behind
now
it.
I get why they were doing it, because of the color orange over in the Netherlands. That's
It's kind of funny though that you see just these screaming Turkish fellows just jamming knives into fruit in protest.
It goes to show that many of us have still not really evolved past chimpanzee fucking status. Damn.
I like to think that basically the chimpanzee is still there. There is just this outer layer of humanity around it. But when things get rough, when going gets tough, well, we kind of revert back to the primary urges.
Well, if you think about it, civilized humanity has only existed for maybe 10,000 years. Evolutionarily wise, that's a pretty short time.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a very microscopic timeline.
That's one of the things that I do have to say that kind of sucks about once you start realizing. Okay, I feel weird saying once I became an atheist, but whatever, for lack of a better term. Once I completely realized the way life actually works, when I became an atheist, it is quite dispiriting and just kind of really scary to the core to see that it's a matter of evolution. Ultimately, I do believe you could see good and evil, and I definitely believe in right and wrong and stuff, but let's face it, the world keeps spinning. It doesn't matter how many people are being tortured right now as we speak. Life just continues going on, and that's a hard fact to swallow.
It is. I kind of realized that too when I was younger, and I used to believe in socialism to an extent, and I regret it now. And then when I finally went out on my own and got a job and had to pay bills, I was just like, this isn't all right. I'm no longer happy with this. I'm going conservative.
No, I think everybody goes through that phase. You know, I went through it. I mean, before, even though I grew up, you know, Cuban and stuff like that, listening to so much anti-Castro shit, I was like, I didn't care. I was numb to it. And so I went through a little phase. I'm talking about like maybe 2 or 3 years when I was like 19 and shit, where I didn't understand the super wealthy. I hated Donald. I ended up hating Donald Trump later on in my late teenage years. So I thought, oh my God, this guy's such a greedy pig and all that. And then one friend of mine told me, wow, you sound like a communist. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, that fucking thing that our family fucking escaped Cuba from. You know that, right? And when he started explaining that to me, I was like, oh shit, no, I didn't realize that, you know. And then, yeah, I think that's why I think this whole thing with Black Lives Matter and all, I think it's gonna phase out. You know, the Islam one though doesn't seem to be. That one seems to be persisting for centuries.
Ooh, yeah, they're rather good at getting through things, and it. I'll say this: if it even wants to get better, I really think that there needs to be in that, because I mean, Christianity is not perfect by any means, but we generally mold out most of the really dispiriting and nasty bits. Well, or at least I should say we don't really practice it. I mean, we're not really going around raging crusade anymore and capturing the Holy Land. But you know, I can't really speak for it myself. You know, I'm just trying to make a comment or two on what I think. But you know, we're not as bad as Saudi Arabia.
Religion had a purpose, because prior to this more modernized society we had, you only had faith in God, that you weren't going to be dragged off by wolves, wandering tribes, savages, or just die randomly from a plague. It glued society together. But we've reached a point in society where we don't need religion as much as we did. We have civilized laws and procedures and stuff like that. And it's disorganizing. It's not meshing well with new society and the many rules and laws we have.
And that's what brings me to the second part of what I wanted the stream to actually be about, which is the will to power. And I think in the end, like I was talking about it this morning, as I was rehearsing to see, okay, what do I mean by the will to power, you know, from Frederick Nietzsche and shit. The sad thing is that we're not all created equal. And there are some people who are a lot stronger, a lot smarter, and a lot more fucking ruthless, which are pretty much the story of any dictator. And the majority of people, as long as you give them enough to put food on their table and a roof over their head, they will follow the most fucking ideas. And that's why we get this. That's why we're seeing this. And religion is just a manifestation of that, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's about bread and circuses. And that's how the Romans kept people happy. There was just enough bread and just enough distraction that nobody really cared what was going on until it was at their doorstep.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I found frightening. I mean, I think I've become a little more numb to it as I've gotten older. And of course, you know, when you realize, well, shit, I'm in a great country, you know, living in the United States, North America for that matter. You know, I don't feel all those, you know, those horrors that you read about that go on in certain parts of Africa and Southeast Asia. Well, now Venezuela. But yeah, when you're reminded of that, it shakes you to the core. At least me.
Oh, sorry.
You get comfortable because it all just kind of flows into the background. Like, yeah, well, but that's a different country, and yeah, well, that's not here, and yeah, well, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely is, and I mean, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm just rambling.
No, I remember I used to work with this guy from El Salvador, and during his time when he was in El Salvador, there was a military dictatorship, and I was still kind of young, so I was just asking, I was like, so what did you do? Why? How did you tolerate? And he's just like, look, like it honestly was not perfect, but as long as you didn't piss anyone off, you were fine. You went to work, you paid your bills, and you lived. It's like why would I cause trouble? He's like, just tell me, why would you go and cause trouble? I was like, well, democracy. So I'm gonna kick this guy out, and some other idiot's gonna come in, and we're gonna have to kick him out. And it's nonsense. Like, so I just learned to accept it. He's like, in retrospect, I was wrong, but that's the way I genuinely felt, because he said it was just this overwhelming prevalence of hopelessness, and nothing was going to change. So I might as well just, as long as he wasn't trying to shoot me in the street, it was okay. And that honestly stunned me, because I mean, I live in a relatively comfortable environment. I've got everything I generally need, and when you hear it come from someone who's been through this kind of thing, it's pretty crazy.
Ernest, sorry, but your voice is kind of fading out every so often. It makes it a bit.
My Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Dorbucks, either way, I got to be cutting off right now, so sorry. But we could pick up on that, man, because I heard a similar story from this one guy in Guatemala, which wasn't as bad as that. But when I discovered how corrupt the government of Guatemala is, and this guy actually managed to work with the president, and not the president, I forgot, but a very higher up in his country. It was just amazing to see that. Yeah, how difficult it is to change such a nightmarish scenario. But
I think we just learn to accept it.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What?
I think people just learn to accept it. It just becomes a way of life.
Yeah, no, you accept, you adapt, and you hope you overcome. That's the other thing, that people will quickly adapt to it. I mean, as harrowing as I'm sure Venezuela looks to us, if you found yourself in a situation like that, you'd be surprised within a couple of months. It just becomes the norm almost. You become desensitized and numb, even if you want to get the fuck out of there. I think after a while you just kind of accept that, and I've seen that with a lot of Cubans. Actually, they finally left, but they do say that after a while you just fuck it. It just doesn't phase you as much.
It's the same thing here with I can't even compare this close to Guatemala, El Salvador, Venezuela, or Cuba, but I mean, when the debt crisis here hit, and we found out we really owed all this money, everyone was panicking and up in arms, and then over a while we just said, well,
it is what it is.
We'll just be quiet and wait for the next moral outrage to overtake us and fill us full of bloodlust. And we did, but I'll touch up on that with you, Nachi, in our stream. But,
yeah, for sure, man. For sure, dude. And thanks again, man. I appreciate everybody being on this on the stream. This is my second attempt, and it was fun, man. It was fun.
Yeah, anytime. Nice meeting you all.
And obvious, thanks again, Mark, for joining us back in, and nothing, man. Till the next time.
Well, thank you for having us.
Huh?
All right.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Obvious. No, I'll keep in touch and see if we could set up another one. Just you and I. We could talk about stuff that you mentioned to me.
Okay. Have a good night.
My brother,
See
you too,
you.
man.
Good night.
Later, Mark.